I gave her flowers. Not the kind you buy quickly at a gas station, not the kind that wilt in a day. I spent hours at the market, searching for the brightest bouquet. The ones I knew were her favorite. I wanted to see her smile, to remind her that even after all the long hours, the exhaustion, I still thought of her. But when I walked into the room, holding them out with a shy grin, she didn't even reach for them. She glanced at the bouquet, then at her friends sitting around the table, sipping wine and giggling. Her lips curled into a smirk. "Really?" she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Flowers? That's it." Her friends laughed, covering their mouths, eyes darting between us. My smile faltered, my hands tightening around the stems. She leaned back, her voice sharp. "Not enough." The room filled with more laughter. The bouquet, so carefully chosen, suddenly felt heavy in my hands, like I was holding proof of my own failure. I lowered it slowly, my chest burning, my throat tight, while she went back to chatting as if I had never even walked in. And in that moment I realized the flowers weren't the problem. I was. At least that's what she wanted me to believe. After that night, the sound of their laughter haunted me. It wasn't just the way she said, "Not enough." It was the way her friends looked at me afterward, like I was a joke she had told, like my effort, my love, my entire presence was something to be mocked over glasses of wine. I left the flowers on the counter, their petals still fresh, their colors bright. But when I woke up the next morning, they were gone. I searched the kitchen, the living room, the trash. Finally, I found them outside, wilted already, tossed into the bin as if they had never meant anything at all. My chest ached. Those flowers were more than just a gift. They were a piece of me, my time, my thought, my care. And she had thrown them away without hesitation, without guilt. The next few days, her cruelty became sharper. When her friends visited again, she made sure to remind them. "He thinks flowers solve everything," she said, rolling her eyes. "Like I'm some cheap girl who can be bought with daisies." They laughed. I stood in the hallway, unseen but not unheard, my fists clenching at my sides. At dinner, she pushed the plate I made aside. "You didn't try hard enough," she muttered. "It's bland. Like you." When we went out, she compared me to others. "Look at him," she whispered as a couple walked past, the man holding his partner's hand tightly, a small velvet box in his pocket. "That's how a real man makes his woman feel loved." Then she looked at me, her lips curling. You? You bring flowers. And think it's enough." Every word chipped at me piece by piece, until I began to doubt myself. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe no matter how hard I worked, no matter how much I gave, I would never reach whatever bar she set for me. One night I tried again. I brought home her favorite meal, saved up quietly for weeks to buy her the necklace she had once admired in a shop window. I set it on the table, my hands trembling, hoping this time would be different. She opened the box, looked at the necklace, then looked at me. For a second I thought I saw softness in her eyes. But then she laughed, sharp, cruel, cold. "Still not enough," she said, snapping the box shut. I felt my heart drop. "What do you want from me?" I whispered, my voice breaking. She stood, her eyes glittering with mockery. "More. Always more. But you'll never have it in you, will you?" Her words echoed in the room long after she left. I sat there alone, the untouched meal growing cold in front of me, the necklace box heavy in my hand. It wasn't just the gifts she mocked. It was me. My love, my effort, my existence. Nothing I gave would ever be enough. Because she had already decided I wasn't enough. And as I sat there in silence, staring at the box, something inside me shifted. Her laughter no longer stung the same way. It didn't feel like truth anymore. Felt like poison. And the longer I stayed, the more it would eat away at me. For the first time I began to wonder, not what more I could give her, but why I was still giving her anything at all. Her mockery didn't stop. It evolved. It wasn't just flowers or gifts anymore. It was everything I did, every step I took, every breath I breathed. She turned my presence into a joke. And the more I stayed silent, the bolder she became. Breakfast. When I poured her coffee, she wrinkled her nose. "Too bitter." "Like you." If I fixed something around the house, tightening a loose hinge, repairing a leak, she smirked. Congratulations. You're finally good for something other than flowers. When I tried to really talk, she rolled her eyes. Why bother? You never have anything worth saying. But the worst came in front of others. One evening, she hosted another gathering. Her friends filled the living room, their laughter rising over music. I stayed in the kitchen, quietly preparing snacks, telling myself it was easier to stay invisible than to give her another opportunity to cut me down. But she wouldn't let me disappear. Come here, she called, her voice syrupy sweet. I stepped into the living room, the plate of food balanced in my hands. She gestured to me with a glass of wine, smiling wide for her audience. Here he is, the romantic genius. Flowers, necklaces, dinners, all wasted effort. She sipped her drink, the room erupting in laughter. You'd think by now he'd realize he'll never be enough. The laughter stabbed at me, each chuckle a knife twisting deeper. My face burned, my chest hollowed. But I forced myself to stand there, plate trembling in my hands. But she waved me away like a servant. That night, after everyone left, I confronted her. My voice shook, but I forced the words out. Why? Why do you keep doing this to me? What do you gain from mocking me? She smirked, leaning against the counter. Because it's fun. Because watching you squirm reminds me of what I deserve. And you're just a reminder of how far beneath me I really settled. Her words hit harder than any slap. I stared at her, unable to speak, my throat tight. She wanted me broken. She wanted me small. And the more I gave, the more she reminded me that I would never be enough, not because of what I did, but because she had decided long ago. The next few days were worse. She flaunted the necklace I had bought her. But not as something from me. She told her friends she bought it herself, laughing when they complimented her taste. When I overheard and asked her later why she lied, she shrugged. Because admitting you gave it to me would be embarrassing. Something cracked inside me then. I went to bed that night, staring at the ceiling, her laughter still echoing in my ears. For years I had convinced myself that if I kept trying, if I gave her more, she would finally see me. But her words replayed in my mind, not enough. Not enough. Not enough. And suddenly I realized the truth. It wasn't that I wasn't enough. It was that she would never be satisfied. She could have the world placed at her feet. And she would still mock the hand that gave it. The flowers weren't the problem. The meals weren't the problem. The gifts weren't the problem. She was. And as I lay there in the dark, my heart racing, one thought burned in my chest, fiercer than the pain. If she mocked me for giving her everything, then maybe it was time she saw what it felt like when I gave her nothing at all. The morning after her last party, I sat at the kitchen table long after she left for brunch with her friends. The necklace she lied about shimmered faintly in the light where she had left it tossed on the counter. I stared at it the same way I once stared at the flowers I bought her, the ones she threw away without a thought. Both of them told the same story. Nothing I gave would ever be enough. By evening, when she returned, the house smelled faintly of the meal I had cooked. The table was set, candles lit. For a moment she looked almost surprised. Trying again, she said, slipping off her heels. You never learn. I gestured for her to sit. She did, crossing her arms, her smirk already forming. I placed the plate in front of her. But I didn't sit across from her this time. I stood at the head of the table, my hands steady, my voice calm. You say I'm not enough, I began. She rolled her eyes. Because you're not. I nodded slowly. Maybe that's true for you. Maybe no matter what I do, it will never be enough. But I finally realized something. You're not mocking the flowers. Or the meals. Or the gifts. You're mocking me. And you've enjoyed it because I let you. Her smirk faltered. Just slightly. I stepped closer, my eyes locked on hers. But here's what you don't understand. Mockery only works on someone who cares. And after tonight, I don't. She leaned back, scoffing. So what, you'll stop trying? You'll leave? You can't. You wouldn't survive without me. I almost laughed, a sound bitter and tired. No. You wouldn't survive without me. Who's been paying the bills? Who's been breaking his back to keep this roof above us? Who gave you everything while you gave nothing in return? Me. Her jaw tightened, her eyes narrowing. "Don't you dare." "I'm done," I interrupted, my voice sharp, cutting through her words. "Done giving. Done begging. Done letting you make me small just so you can feel big." I walked to the counter, picked up the necklace box, and set it gently in front of her. "This isn't a gift anymore. It's a reminder. A reminder that no matter what I gave, you always said the same thing. Not enough." She stared at the box, then back at me, her lips parting. Then no words came. I grabbed my jacket from the chair, my bag from the corner, packed days ago when I realized this moment would come. My chest was tight, my throat heavy, but my steps were steady. "Where are you going?" she demanded, her voice cracking. I turned at the doorway, my hand on the frame. "Somewhere my love won't be mocked. Somewhere my effort means something. Somewhere I can breathe without your laughter in my ears." Her face twisted, anger spilling out in a hiss. "You'll regret this." I shook my head slowly. "No. You will." And then I walked out. The door closed behind me, muffling her voice. The night air hit me cold, but it was clean, sharp, alive. For the first time in years, I felt the weight of her words sliding off my shoulders. I walked down the street with nothing but a bag and the faint ache of exhaustion in my bones. But inside me, something stronger than pain had taken root. She mocked me for giving her flowers. She mocked me for trying. She mocked me for loving her. But in the end, it wasn't me who wasn't enough. It was her. And as I stepped into the quiet night, my chest finally free of her voice, I whispered to myself the words I had needed all along. I am enough. And for the first time I believed it.